So I just rolled the credits on Dragon Quest II HD 2D a few hours ago. I'm really exhausted because I stayed up late, but it was so well worth it. I went in completely blind here, having never played the original NES game, and I was just genuinely surprised again and again and again about the real heartfelt journey that I ended up going on when playing this game. I mean, I didn't know any of the big twists. I had no idea what to expect outside of the fact that it's bigger than Dragon Quest I. But Dragon Quest II HD 2D feels so much bigger. It's richer, it's adventurous, it's more emotional, and honestly, it's a better story than I would have ever expected from a 1987 JRPG. So I wanted to give you a full review from my perspective of somebody experiencing this game for the first time. No nostalgia, no preconceived ideas, just a brand new journey through one of the earliest big JRPGs, now reimagined in this gorgeous HD 2D art style. So I cannot wait to talk about Dragon Quest II HD 2D with you guys. Before we do, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know if you've played this or are playing it, or even played the original one back in the late 80s. I would love to know. And I also wanted to give a thank you and shout out to Square-Enix for providing me with a review code for the PlayStation 5, which is where I've captured all my footage as well. So let's start off by talking about the story, the world, the characters, all that great stuff, and everything that just made this game what it is, which is really fun. So Dragon Quest II HD 2D tells a surprisingly dramatic and heartfelt story about 4 royal cousins, all descendants of the original hero from Dragon Quest I. Peace shatters across the world when the Dark Priest Hargon launches an all-out assault on the kingdom of Moonbrook, destroying that city and, of course, spreading chaos throughout the world as part of his plan to summon the God of Destruction, which we don't know until the very end of the game, but it's kind of implied that there's some impending doom. And what starts out as a go find your relatives and save the world kind of idea quickly builds into something with a lot of emotional weight. Each person you recruit to your party comes from a kingdom either impacted by Hargon's cruelty or worried about what could happen to their own kingdom. I mean, the remake frames these opening moments with gorgeous HD 2D visuals and the beautifully orchestrated music that really just emphasizes how devastating this intro to the game is. And the story remains simple and structured, of course. It's very much a classic JRPG hero's journey, but the remake here enriches it with warmth and humor and small emotional cutscenes and a lot of context for the world's history. It feels like the tale Dragon Quest II always wanted to tell but couldn't fully express back in 1987. Now, one of the best surprises in Dragon Quest II HD 2D is how much personality your party has. I mean, let's just look aside from the fact that your main hero doesn't talk, which is typical in Dragon Quest stuff, but the other 3 protagonists here, they talk, they comment on events, react to discoveries, and provide subtle flavor to every situation. It's not verbose storytelling by any means, it's classic Dragon Quest charm, delivered in little conversational bursts that give your party surprising emotional depth. And the sense of personality extend far beyond the heroes. Some of the monsters in this game are written with a lot more nuance than I expected. You meet creatures who are afraid, confused, mind-controlled, or even helpful. I mean, there were moments where I genuinely felt bad for some enemies because the game portrayed them as victims of Hargon's influence. And one sequence where I actually befriended a monster was such a fun and surprisingly emotional moment. And I have to highlight one emotional beat that really surprised me and really just, stunned me in a way that I wasn't expecting, which was way later in the game, which is when you have to finish one of the key items. You need to get a pearl earring. It all has to do with the Queen of the Mermaids. And it's just a small little story about love, misunderstanding, and forgiveness. And it really just hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting. So, I mean, I gotta say, this presentation here of the game just elevates everything. The music, the camera angles. I mean, it's just pixel perfect. Really just makes it one of the most touching moments in the entire trilogy. I know it's small, but I'm a bit of a softie, so what do you expect? And overall, I mean, the characters in Dragon Quest II, they're not complex, they're warm, they're memorable, they're emotionally human in a way that's going to surprise you just as much as it did me. Now, the world of Dragon Quest II feels massive in scope compared to Dragon Quest I. Of course, Dragon Quest I was isolated to one small spot on your map, but then take that and then zoom out. There's so much to see. Like every HD 2D game so far, the world map is like this beautiful diorama filled with tiny details, lush environments, cozy little towns, ominous ruins. It really has this classic early JRPG mystery vibe to it. The sense that every square of the world just hides a secret. And what I appreciated here is that the game trusts the player, gives hints, nudges, subtle guidance, but never really overwhelms. And it encourages exploration in a natural way, making discoveries feel like genuine accomplishments. Finding little islands, or solving little puzzles, or stumbling into little caves. It all feels rewarding, and all this stuff definitely I would recommend doing if you want to get the most out of the game. And when the story leans into legacy and history, the world definitely reflects that. People recognize who you are. They recognize your lineage. Towns have stories that go back generations. There are direct callbacks to Dragon Quest I that feel meaningful rather than forced. And the highlight moment for world building, meeting the grandson of the Dragon Lord from Dragon Quest I. Total shocking. And I expected him to be the villain of the game, but no. He was clever. He was funny. He was helpful. And he even referred to the main party as the heroes. It was so fun, and it just was unexpected, honestly. But I mean, overall, for the world, it's simple by modern standards, but all this presentation that's happening here and all these HD 2D games really just make it feel nostalgic and timeless, even for somebody like me who's never played this game before. Now, as far as gameplay, Dragon Quest has always been known as some of the hardest JRPGs because they're grindy, they're old school, and that was one of the things that put me off even trying to play some of these older games. But this version seems to smooth out all the rough edges while still offering a solid challenge. Combat feels great, snappy, readable, and visually expressive. Spell effects look just as good as they did in HD 2D version of 3 and 1. Battles flow really quickly, boss fights hit hard but rarely feel unfair. You'll need strategy, of course, healing and the occasional grinding, but the pacing is much more approachable here. And because now we're playing with a full party as opposed to just one hero in Dragon Quest 1, and add on to the fact that yes, Dragon Quest 3 had a full party as well, but you just assign jobs to these random people. There's actual weight to these characters, so everything, even in battle moments, feels a lot more believable. All the characters have little lines they say when you do certain attacks. Each character has their own strategy to use as well. The main hero doesn't have any spells. The other prince has spells and does attacks. Both the princesses are kind of, mages in their own right, so it allows you to find your own strategy, figure out what works best for each battle, and just find the best way forward. And exploration and progression just feels cohesive overall. You're constantly finding new equipment, finding new spells, finding new locations, and just solving things and saving the world in classic Dragon Quest feel. There are a lot of old school moments where you might wander a bit to find the next step, but this remake seems to trim the frustration and emphasizes discovery instead, which is really great for newcomers to this series, and even somebody who, whenever I'm playing this, I'm constantly exhausted from either parenting or working. So it's a very welcome refreshment. Hang on, before we talk any more Dragon Quest, did you guys know that almost 90% of the people that watch my channel on the regular are not subscribed? So if you would love to stay in touch with every video I put out each and every week, talking about JRPGs, reviews, top 10s, great discussions, I would love to have you here. Otherwise, if you want more content on the regular, you can follow my Instagram page where I'm posting some reels and flashbacks and pictures and posts, all that great stuff. It's a really fun way to interact with you guys on the regular. Anyway, more Dragon Quest right now. So I would say this game perfectly balances classic JRPG simplicity with modern quality of life improvements, just like HD 2D 3 and 1 did. Nothing feels outdated and nothing feels overcomplicated. And like I said already throughout the review, I cannot understate the beauty of this HD 2D style. I know it's probably not for everybody, but this is really just the perfect blend of nostalgia and great visuals, and then overall all this HD 2D artwork that's been applied to all these HD 2D games, especially the remakes, really just feels like the way that these games have always wanted to be experienced or been told. It's such a beautifully visually pleasing coat of paint, and partner that with the music as well. Classic melodies are reimagined with orchestral warmth and clarity, and certain tracks of course have this surprising emotional weight, and the audio design really just elevates quiet moments, heroic moments, and tragic moments alike. And like I've already commented on with some of the characters as well, the voice acting here is just really great and charming. It just has such a unique signature tone to it that I haven't found in any other JRPG, and I'm just really finding myself falling a lot more in love with the Dragon Quest series because of it. So is Dragon Quest II HD 2D a masterpiece? Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Totally exceeded my expectations. Again, I went in totally blind, and I just found myself walking away from a beautiful adventure that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time. This remake takes a foundational JRPG and elevates it into something emotional, atmospheric, and genuinely memorable. You could say if you played the original, it's going to build on the strengths of the original game, soften the rough edges, and presents the story in a way that feels timeless. Or, for somebody like me coming into it for the first time, makes it approachable and refines everything that made this already great JRPG better. And out of the 3 HD 2D remakes, this is the one that I would say is going to leave the biggest emotional impact on me. It's adventurous, it's heartfelt, it's smartly paced, and visually stunning. And as a first-time player, I walked away feeling like I experienced something special, something that honors Dragon Quest's history while making it shine for a new generation. So if you love JRPGs, Dragon Quest, or just warm emotional adventures, this game absolutely delivers. So that's it for me with my Dragon Quest II HD 2D review. Thanks again to Square-Enix for providing me with a code. I had such a wonderful time. And now I'm trying to toss up, do I buy all the DS games and play 4 through 6? Then hopefully by the time I finish those, maybe I can get onto 7 Reimagined and then finish 8. The sky's the limit for the Dragon Quest series. And because I've never played any of these games before, aside from 11, a little bit of 8, and now 1 through 3, like everything is so brand new and fresh to me in a way that I just feel very hopeful when I play Dragon Quest. And you know what? I hope you do too. So thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your thoughts and all that. And we'll see you on another video next week. Bye-bye.